Hi, Sarah D. Flo here. Welcome to another Gene Key Contemplation video. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for being here. I wanted to start this video off for anybody who may be new to Gene Keys, that this journey requires courage. And in this particular Gene Key, we're going to talk about the wound that we all have. And it's an uncomfortable place. And Richard Rudd starts off in his audio with this, the Gene Keys are meant to be uncomfortable. And so they're not popular, at least not right now. They're definitely not mainstream. The world has not gotten crazy enough to push our button, to push us to the place of looking at the wound. And if you missed my previous Gene Key video, I talk about a little bit more into that if you want to go over to that video. This Gene Key also happens to be very personal to me. It is my deepest wound. It's my core vocation sphere, as is described in the hologenetic profile. That, if you're new to Gene Keys, you can go on the Gene Keys website for free, look up your profile, and if you're open, if you have courage and you feel pulled, it will deliver you with some beautiful insights, breakthroughs, wisdom. For me, I feel it's a lifelong companion. I've absolutely loved my journey into the Gene Keys and sharing. So let's dive in. And actually, before we dive into the shadow of distraction, which I know very well, again, as it's one of my Gene Keys, Richard Rudd asked the question relative to, how uncomfortable looking at these Gene Keys and how uncomfortable it is looking at our wounds. It says, how can you awaken to a negative pattern that threatens to undermine you if you aren't willing to own it 100%? And that is the journey that the Gene Keys is about, as well as many other systems. For me, it's the entrepreneurial journey. It's the journey of the creative. It's the journey of anybody wanting to be authentic, align their life. It's the journey of self-development. And for me, the Gene Keys gets to that depth that is juicy, or as the gift speaks of, enriching. And we're going to dive into the gift, of course, as well. And the other thing Richard Rudd points out in the beginning of his audio of this Gene Key is that we know the shadows. We know them well. When you read those, however uncomfortable they may be in the Gene Key book, as it relates to you, you will be able to see them in your life, and it might be uncomfortable, but there's no denying. It's something we're familiar with, actually, the shadows. What we're not so familiar with are the gifts, and then the highest frequency expression of these themes are the siddhis. And I believe that more and more people are stepping into their highest frequency, their highest vibration. They are awakening to way different ways of being, literally upside down. Again, watch video if you've missed that one for that conversation. Okay, so now that I've set up the context, let's dive into the shadow of distraction. Distraction is basically allowing yourself to be distracted by the dramas of the world going on out there that really have no impact on your life, but we believe that they do. And so we just can be distracted by all kinds of things. And we forget who we really are in this distraction, and we also become numb to what our soul is longing and looking for. We become numb to our authentic desires by trying to chase desires that are put in front of us of what we think we should want. And we get in these pleasure pain cycles, trying to actually avoid the very root of what our wound is all about. And when we are distracted in this way, we are victim to the outer world. And so in the pathway of this gift of enrichment, enrichment it's not a goal. It's the outcome of living a life where you allow yourself to go into the wound, into the pain, or into the suffering, instead of trying to escape it with these by just seeking these desires that you think are going to make you happy, think being the problem. And I can tell you, I've been on a journey of fully surrendering to the best of my ability, letting go of my mind, as I've spoken about in all of these gene keys. It's the philosophy of the human design and the gene keys and the I Ching and the root of this ancient philosophies, that our mind is not... Oh, a kingfisher just dove into the water there and got a fish. There I am being distracted. And the funny thing he says about distraction is okay as long as it's enriching. Distraction is okay as long as it's enriching, and it's being able to discern what is enriching for us truly. What is allowing our spirit to shine forth. And that requires us to look at all aspects of ourselves, the wounds, the suffering bits, and to love it all. And even in the Siddhic level, he speaks of distraction at this, how it manifests in this higher frequency is you are distracted by love and only love. So for me, what that means is when something's up for me, I'm triggered, I'm like, just the other day, my heart was really feeling owie and hurting. And he dives deeper into the levels of contemplation, and the third and final level is in the physical body. And initially we think, oh, contemplation, that starts to get us in touch with, we have an inner world and what's our inner process. And then we get in touch with our emotion. And then we, work with that, and we become present to that. We understand the wisdom in our emotions when we're not attached to them. And then the third bit is just feeling it. You don't even have to know why you're feeling a certain way. And so that's kind of where I am at my journey these days, and just allowing my heart to ache and not needing to put a story to it. And the level of transformation that occurs at that level of contemplation is truly enriching, and it requires us not to run away from the feeling or allow ourselves to be distracted by pleasure, to get out of the uncomfortable feelings. And my intention with this video and all of my videos is to provide a space for a breakthrough, to experience more enrichment in your life, whatever that means for you. And it does take courage to look at the uncomfortable places in our life. And I love what he speaks about, that when we think we're stuck in our life, our mind is what has us trapped, because we're never truly stuck. The world is always mirroring to us exactly what we need. He talks about the intoxication, the Siddhic level, is like microtoxins. It's homeopathic dosages of situations are being delivered to us every single day for the opportunity to love, and therefore heal and get closer to the core essence of who we really are. And there's the myth of the wounded healer, where our wounds become our wisdom. And again, to circle back to the last Gene Key video, where the cracks in the dish are filled with gold, the dish becomes more beautiful. And I'm bringing that forward again because it speaks so much to this enrichment, and the intoxication at the highest level is about realizing that there is nothing outside of you that is needed. When you stop in the moment and pause and just breathe, it's intoxicating. At least that's the potential. I'd love to hear from you. How are you experiencing this theme? And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.